How's it going, everybody?
Hello, hello, Jess. Good night,
Hey,
everyone.
what's up, everybody? What's going on?
Hey, Andrew, welcome. We'll just give it a minute for everybody to trickle in. Glad to have everybody here. Looking forward to the conversation. I hope everybody's having a good week. What's going on with you, Val? How you been?
All good, all good. Just like navigating the week. Really excited for today, actually. We prepare something good, right, Jess? So, yeah, I'm excited. It's been an interesting week, a lot of work, but I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
No, man, never a dull moment. I can't believe it's Wednesday already. It's March next week. I
Crazy.
think it's March
Good.
already.
I don't know what is happening with time. I think I'm in a movie and time is just flying because it's just like crazy. I can't believe that tomorrow is Thursday. I'm like shocked.
Yeah, we'll just give it a minute. We're waiting for a couple of other speakers, so we'll give them a minute to trickle in and then we should be ready to get started. But yeah, what about you, Andrew? What's going on with you? Have you been?
I'm good. I'm good. Just working on some publishing stuff, getting ready for the next podcast episode this weekend, and yeah, just working on some publishing stuff right now. But it's been good. It's been good. Just chilling, listen to some good vibes while working on that.
Yeah, this is the third episode of Espresso Hour, and I know when I started it, I had told Val like I think I want to do it every other week because it is a lot like coordinating people to get on and making sure everybody shows up. Like, how do you get? Well, I don't even want to get into those details, but maybe yeah, we could talk about it while they get there. Like, how
Yeah,
do you
we
guys
can.
deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, scheduling is a thing, right? So if you're trying to, get, guests on your show, there are ways that makes it very easy, right? Like Calendly and, stuff like that really helps. And, people actually putting stuff on their calendar. If I say I'm going to be somewhere, I really want to do that, right? So I shouldn't have to get chased around to be found, right? So I think that we have the tools available to us to make those things easy, and we don't have to make it any more difficult than it could be. So I'll yield on that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I did start using Calendly or whatever it's called to kind of like manage some of the people that come on to my weekly show. Definitely helps. But yeah, that's definitely time consuming. So yeah, it's been going good. It's the third episode. I think getting past the second one is like usually the hard part, right? Because you're like, oh, do I really want to keep doing this? But we're here. We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it going.
No, it's
Um,
good. It's good. It still feels new to me. Like, yes, I know I've done a few of them, but it still feels exciting because you're prepping new material for the next episode, right? So we don't necessarily know how that's gonna go, right? So it's
Yeah,
still,
100%.
yeah,
100% agree. I think you
it's an exciting
also,
thing.
well, you're doing it, you got like new insights. So next time you're doing it, maybe you know more what people wants to listen to and how to organize it. Like definitely, but me in my case for the podcast, I need to have like a calendar of people I'm gonna get together with, and I always have like sound testing just to make sure. But I know that it's complicated and it's a different dynamic. I think Twitter Spaces are like really unique because are kind of more organic, but in a way they give you a lot of insights because you're having this direct contact with people, right? I don't know if that's my perception about it.
Yeah, I think sound check is definitely big, right? So for me, I have some challenges with Twitter. So I believe I sound good, and sometimes I'll hear, "Hey, you don't sound good. You need to come back," and then come back in, right? So for I only have that big issue on Twitter Spaces. So hopefully today sounds good, and we'll just go from there.
Yeah, you sound great. You sound great. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll see if Liz and Slava join us. I'll message them in the meantime. But yeah, we were going to kind of talk about creating content in Web3, and I'm going to call it kind of 2.5, right? Because we're not fully immersed in Web3. So maybe some of the things that you guys are doing, some of the struggles that we're facing, and maybe some of the things that how we see Web3 enhancing Val, I'll turn it over to you. I know you had a couple other things you wanted to talk about as well, just to maybe summarize those and introduce yourself, and then we'll go to Andrew.
Well, everybody, my name is Val. I am a content creator. I have a podcast right now at the moment, and I am building my brand as a solopreneur, a digital nomad, basically. And I'm navigating everything that goes with it. So that's who I am. I am also, this is my third time co-hosting Space with Jess. And actually, I'm pretty excited. I'm also community builder for a project. I'm just doing a couple of things. I think the important thing about like understanding the big change between Web 2 and Web 3 for me was that Web3 is not just a new placement for Web 2. I think in the centralized content management, like that comes with a system of Web 2, user generated content usually belongs to the platform where it is published. And on the other hand, decentralized content, like with AI support and the metaverse, has become significant features and vision for Web3. Like, I think that you have more open source solutions because you're owning what you're doing by their being the developer, or you don't need like intermediaries. So I think it's hard to get to that wave of movement and that transition, but definitely integrating new things with Web3 has changed my perspective about how I create content and how I navigate these ups and downs. And definitely it's been really challenging, but I'm very ambitious. And I think the more I get into it, I realize there's no way to go back the way we maybe produced content before, because AI 2.0 it's also coming. So we have better creation tools and we have more ways to monetize. And I think we have to be really responsible and aware of all the options we actually have now to go with the best one. I think I'm in that process right now. I am not fully monetizing right now. I'm more like building the base of my brand and my products. But I am doing a lot of research about how is the best way to start monetizing and with which tools can I use. So I think it would be very interesting, Jess, if we can navigate a couple of models and platforms or strategies to monetize. And yeah, I can share a little bit of my experience, but I don't know how it's been for Andrew.
Yeah, just really quick before we go to Andrew, I just wanted to add is, what was I going to add? Damn it, it skipped my mind. No, I was going to say, yeah, like look at us. We're on Twitter Spaces, right? Like it's hard for us to leave a centralized entity. And yeah, I still use some Web3 tools. Like I also use Link3, not Linktree, to promote this event. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that. It is like a Web3 AMA platform. So it's like I'm still using like a mixture of both because it's hard to leave what you're used to and where your audience is. So I think it's going to be like a slow transition to either like half and half, or we can like fully move our Twitter data. Twitter shuts down and we all go somewhere else. But Andrew, I'll kick it over to you to maybe introduce yourself and just maybe give your thoughts about where you think we are between Web 2 and Web 3.
Yeah, so I appreciate that. Thanks for the invite. So my name is Andrew Alliance. I am a creative entrepreneur focusing on new media and publishing. That's a short version. Over the last 10 plus years, I've recorded 600 plus podcast episodes. And this year I published my first book, which is called Podcasting What You Should Know. I dropped that on my birthday, which was January 19th. And then I also dropped a collection of poems that I've had since the 1990s and the early 2000s. I published that as well because I didn't want anything to happen to that, water damage, et cetera, et cetera. So the point there is put stuff out because you never know, right? You never know how you're going to inspire. You never know how you're going to help somebody. I think we're at a place where entrepreneurs are actually trying to figure out how they're going to take everything that they do and put it into one place, right? So whether it's the podcast thing, the YouTube thing, what's happening in the Discord thing, right? So they're trying to take all that stuff and put it in one place. And I think some places that do that well would be like your Fourth Wall, which is a great website that allows you to take all those things, newsletter, Discord, podcast, YouTube, and put that all in one place and even brand that for yourself. So you're not necessarily everywhere, right? Trying to scatter if you're taking the best of who you are, right? And bringing it forward to whatever platform you're presenting, whether it's Twitter Spaces or something else, right? I think we're at a spot also where the person that's serving you your coffee may have like 20,000 subscribers on their YouTube, and they're using 4 or 5 different places to monetize, but they just love doing the coffee thing as a barista, and they're doing that during the day, right? So that's going to be like a norm for a lot of things. I remember a couple of years ago, I went to LA. A lot of the individuals who are doing the Ubers were, actors, they were producers, there were other things, right? And I think that we're going to see a lot of those things in the near future. So I'll yield there for now.
No, I think those are all great points. Yeah. Like and I and just a disclaimer really quick because I don't want to throw Liz under the bus. She did tell me she was going to be a few minutes late, so she'll be joining us in a little bit. But what I wanted to say is that I struggle with how to monetize my content because when I do want to do it, I want to make sure that I'm doing it like the right way. And it's not easy as a content creator to just, go on YouTube and start making money, right? Like you're getting views, but it's not enough for them to want to give you a cut or write you a check. So I'm really interested, like lately, and I'm going to show my space tomorrow because I'm holding a space at 8 in the morning Eastern time with BNB, and I'm actually talking about their new blockchain that's coming out, which is called BNB Greenfield, which is a decentralized storage blockchain. And you have something, Filecoin is another one. But now the narrative is that these decentralized storage blockchains are going to be compatible with smart contracts. So imagine where you host your data, then being able to, have smart contracts around it. So I really feel like this year we're going to see a tick in like decentralized storage solutions and web hosting and just making it easier that we don't have to, jump through hoops to become a Twitch partner or a YouTube partner to even begin to get a cut, because I feel like the entry to monetize, it's not equitable across the board. Sorry, I'm just like all over the place ranting.
No, you're not. Actually, you're like so accurate. And in my personal experience, it's so hard because when you go through this and like my example, like I'm an immigrant, I'm waiting for like my work permit. So actually I started using Twitch, and as soon as I had the opportunity to get affiliate, I couldn't because I'm just waiting for my work permit. I'm not like, I don't have like a real life job right now. I'm literally just living from my savings till I have my work permit. But as soon as I sign the affiliate program with Twitch, I have to pay taxes. And I have to do all the, like, if I had a regular business, it's exactly the same. And I am like a political asset. So I'm literally on a state that I cannot really monetize right now because it's illegal, and I don't want, it's illegal. And I think that having this opportunity of this, what you're talking about, is amazing. I mean, it's okay. I will get there. But my point is that people get so obsessed, and the whole idea of being a content creator for everyone is so, it's bittersweet because they think they're going to make money right away. And I think we have to be very, very realistic that you need to build community. You need to be authentic. You need to choose your digital products rightly. You need to do research. So when you are solopreneur and you are your brand and your niche and you are your own business manager, monetization might come with time. And I think that people should answer, what problem do you have in your life that you think you are solving? Because most of the time your content is mostly, even if you're informing people or you're giving them a solution to something, you need to be realistic that what you're sharing also solve the problem in your life. And how are you going to help others by finding a real solution, right? Buying your stuff, even if you do courses, mentorships, coaching programs, guidebooks about crypto, or how to buy your first NFT. Whatever you're doing is a whole business. And you need to be realistic that monetization, like the biggest YouTubers always said, like, it took me this amount of time to build my community and have these potential customers that believe in who I am as a brand that will eventually buy my products. I think this is really important because people really get obsessed with monetizing in the first 3 months. If you are really lucky and amazing, you can do it really fast. but it's a process of ups and downs. And I don't want to extend myself too much, Jess, but I think that will be my approach to the whole fact of monetizing right away when you decide you're going to become into a content creator, despite whatever you're doing.
No, I think those are great points. Those are great points. Nico, welcome, and I'll go to you in a second. But I did have a question for Andrew. Like, Andrew, I know you've been on YouTube, you've done podcasts, you've written a book. Like, maybe share a little bit about some of the areas where you've had some wins and maybe where you've had some L's and some of the different types of content that you've created.
Yeah, absolutely. So podcast is definitely the main thing, right? Since '09, I definitely had a lot of wins there. I use a service called Libsyn, and Libsyn allows you to do ads, right? So you could do automatic ads through a service that they have. So I have ads running through my main podcast, TSR, it's called The Show Radio. So I have ads running on that show, and I also do ads within the actual podcast, right? So that really helps because you're able to promote something, organically inside of the podcast, and you're also getting automatic ads through the Libsyn ad program that goes on the actual show. So there's wins there. The book is fantastic. I think that if you specialize in something, you should consider writing about it, right? Because we're still reading, 4 Hour Work Week. We're still reading Dale Carnegie stuff. We're still reading a lot of things, and these individuals may be with us, may not be with us, depending on, the person, but we're still reading these manuscripts. So if you specialize in something, right, whether it's photography, et cetera, you should consider writing something because you become the authority because you posted a manuscript on Amazon, right? That kind of thing. So I think that's highly recommended to do. The YouTube side of things, I am monetized there, and the check fluctuates because of AdSense, but you can also do, brand deals and things like that once you get to that point. But with the brand deals, which is interesting, it's not necessarily the subscriber number, right? Because if you know individuals that's going to offer you the opportunity, it doesn't matter if you have 1,000 or like 5,000 or 20,000. If you are not a kind human being, you may have 100K and not get those opportunities, right? Because of your reputation. And you may have 1,000 and get those opportunities because of your good reputation, if that's the case, right? So there's affiliate programs. You could do SaaS affiliate, you could do memberships, you could do newsletters. And just by way of the newsletter, Liz recently launched her newsletter, right? And there's ways to monetize, that particular aspect of things where you do one post where you're sharing information and then maybe a post later on that week where it's behind a paywall, right? So there's different things you could do in that regard. So YouTube has been great for me. So I'm fortunate for that. Podcasting is fantastic. Consulting also. So with Calendly, by way of an example, you can do a paywall an hour meeting because the going rate is anywhere between like 250 and 500 if you are really good at what you do, right? So if you're a video person and you give video advice by way of consulting, you could do a one-off call for $500, right? You could do a one-off call for 350. The average price is about like 250 to 375. But if you're really good, you can get a 500 price rate for that particular consulting call, right? So I think there's different ways that you could do it. It really depends on what the focus is going to be. And do you have, what do you want to be known for, right? That's the other thing. Do you want to be known for a person that does Twitter Spaces? Do you want to be known for somebody that does consulting, or art space or project management, right? So whatever you want to be known for, you can either write about it in a newsletter fashion, or you can even, create, write your book about it. So there are different ways that you can actually do that and make sure that you're not burning out while you're putting this stuff out too, right? So the newsletter does help because you can put all that stuff in a newsletter and build that list because we are building on rented land right now, right? The Twitter Spaces, the YouTube, the IGs, the TikToks. So a newsletter would definitely be something that should be a focus way in the beginning if you can. So that way you have, that base in the event that anything happens to these platforms. So I'll yield on that.
Yeah, I think that that's a great point. And I just wanted to add about building your brand. Like I've been approached by projects or teams, and it's like something that I would never be interested in. So I think you also, as a content creator, if you are going to work with a brand, like you actually have to enjoy the product or like the product and not bullshit people. Because I'm like, why would you ask me if I was interested in being brand ambassador for this? Like, you've never seen me post about this. And, my guidance is always like, you should really approach people that actually are going to enjoy the brand and are going to support the brand rather than just going after people that have, a bunch of followers. Like, numbers does not mean anything. But yeah, Nico, what's up? Welcome.
Hey guys, how are you guys?
Doing
Uh,
good. How are you?
Not bad, not bad at all. So look, Jess, I've been in your crypto and coffee spaces many times, but I really don't like talking about it. But everything you guys are talking about, especially the two of you, I went through it. I stopped everything because of reputation and because I couldn't monetize things properly, and because I was getting ripped off. That too, and I had bills to pay in New York City. It wasn't enough. But like like you're 100% correct. Partnering, number one, I ended up getting my channel like they were taking 40% of what I was making right off the bat, and I got lucky because I it was hard to get monetized back when I got monetized. It was 2015. It took me 3 months, not even, and it just went crazy for me, and it was a gaming channel. So it's more important to give legitimate information, not worry about the monetization. That's what my whole thing was, and it always will be. And so it's it is a lot more important just to give legitimate information, be yourself, and from there on, and just be careful with everybody else. Because I've even told you the story. I did a commercial one time that aired in Asia. I didn't even know what it was. They didn't tell me exactly what it was, but I knew it was going to be harmless because it was video game play. Like, it was because I was one of the top players in that game. But like, I ended up in a building I did work in. I knew the owner, and I'm sitting here and I'm I walked in from the backside of the building because I didn't know what the hell was going on, and I knew the super, and I'm sitting there telling them it was kind of like it was the freakiest thing I ever had to deal with in my life. Because I was dealing with multiple things at the same time, and I sat there and I told them, I'm like, guys, I built the kitchen that's right here. I know the owner in this place. And they didn't tell me nothing. All they wanted was gameplay stuff. And all of a sudden I'm getting messages. Oh, you were in a commercial in Malaysia, Singapore, and some other, and another country, Indonesia, I believe. And I'm sitting here in Taiwan. And it was like, okay, what am I going to do now? And
That's
Andrew was
crazy.
Yeah, and Andrew's 100% right because I got that job from another YouTuber, and I ended up getting quite a few other things from other YouTubers. The subscriber numbers didn't matter. My view count was what mattered because I had legitimate information in my videos. People in that game still reference my videos till today, and my videos are 8 years old with the stuff I talked about.
Great
Nick,
points, Nico. Great points. Go ahead, Val.
yeah, I have a couple of things that are amazing, of things you said. And Nico, I'm so sorry that that happened to you. But I'd always like to tell people that, and that's what I'm taking the time to actually build the ways I want to monetize and to get really close to all the models and ways I can actually monetize once I get the community I want to build. And eventually, I didn't get really attached to numbers because at the end, what's going to be important for a brand, and you said it, Jess, if you are a content creator, it's also your life, and you need to enjoy what are you actually doing and the brands, the brands things and deals that you are actually having. Because now you're bullshitting. Sorry for the word. It's BS for your audience, and I think the more authentic and the more close you are with the brands you want to work with and the things you want to prove to your audience, the better, because they actually going to believe you. And I think that it is important to track how your ads or affiliate links perform, but I think the main thing is paying attention to the right metrics. So, average click-through rate and average conversion rate, audience demographic, and quality of data about your data is great, but I think that those are the metrics that at the end are going to be very valuable, more than likes and shares. People get really attached to like how many people is liking my thing, how many people is sharing, and at the end, when a brand asks you to work with them and you give them your social media kit, which is something that every content creator should have, right? Because it's a win-win thing. Like what's going to make you not just a content creator, but a business persona is having a social media kit that proves that you have the metrics that matters for conversion at the end, which is important because you're looking to convert, right, with time. And I think that I just wanted to say that because it's more than just working with brands that you like, is working with brands that are going to make you earn money if you decide to work with brands in the long term. Protecting yourself and also protecting the brand, which also give you credibility in the media. And with the more credibility, more brands are going to contact you. I think that was the insight I wanted to say. And yeah, definitely there's a lot of ways, but I study for content monetization models. Andrew, I don't know if you know about this, which is third-party ads, premium content, content monetization platforms, and monetizing your fan base, which is, I think, the one I am going to use. And I'm going to close with the idea that monetizing my fan base is about you create new products to sell to people who love your work, right? Like, so like, for example, like t-shirt, mugs, pillows, whatever. You may also launch a Patreon, which I am using Patreon at the moment, either to take donations or offer exclusive content. In this way, you can monetize your fan base sometimes. So that's the way I am doing it right now. Andrew, I don't know if you have some comments about it, but I will give you the chance to speak because I want to know your insight about it.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah. So on the brand stuff, as you were, a lot of things, I was thinking about. So Nico mentioned legitimate information twice. And whenever people mention things multiple times, I just get very curious, right? Like, what was the context of why they keep mentioning the thing, right? So I'm curious about that if he's able to share that sometime during this conversation. So that's one thing. But yeah, go ahead, man.
So the game that I was playing was really, really complex. Like, they gave us all this stuff and these really hard boards that a lot of people couldn't figure out how to do it. So I ended up, and all right, people were able to figure out how to do it, but they were spending an astronomical amount of money. I ended up making free-to-play versions, and like I did a lot of testing with that stuff because I ended up building a lot of things in that game, and it took me hours of testing, and it always worked at the time. And I did it for multiple boards because there was a lot of boards like that, and like that's what I meant by people still reference the videos that I made. All of my most popular videos, like the ones with 250,000 views and up, those are the ones I'm talking about. They were free to play. So this is why I'm so bullish on the crypto market, because I'm waiting for a very good free to play, pay to win type of, like pay to earn, something like that type of game where it's going to be done properly. When that happens, it's going to be really big for a lot of people. So like that's why I won't even I'm looking for a game now to play because I'm not working. But I won't touch some of these games. Like, there's a lot of things you're 100% right about reputation. So, like, it's a lot of things going on with that. Like, Andrew, you're on point with a lot of things, bro.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you. Yeah, so brands, right? So I remember there was one year I was going to E3, and Logitech approached me before I was making that trip, and they were like, "Hey, what's going on? Who's going to be at E3, this year?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to go." And then when I ended up landing in LA and I referenced that I had the conversation, one of the individuals, from the Logitech team, they were like, "Hey, now that you're here, we're going to have a particular event at a location." I said, "Cool, I'm going to be there." So I get over there and it ended up being like a private meeting for future partners that they were considering, right? So I became a partner for Logitech G, so shout outs to them. And the reason I bring that up is because brands are always watching the content creator, right? We don't know to what degree, but they have their own private groups, their Facebook or conversational groups, and they'll flag a creator if they say something crazy online, right? And I've seen that happen with, a lot of people in this space. So you just have to be mindful. We're talking about, working with brands and doing all those things. You can do all those things really quickly. And as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do as, being a kind human being, those opportunities will come. They will, right? May not be as fast as you'd want them to happen, but they will happen, right? But say something crazy today and watch how fast that information goes to all of the individuals that you wanted to work with, right? So we just have to be mindful of that. So I think, the brand stuff is really fantastic. It's a great opportunity for any creator, whether you're indie or, you have like a decent sized team to work with a lot of these companies. I do agree with you, Val, having a kit, because your first impression will definitely be your last, especially if you're sending that stuff via email. So I think all those things are really important. But for me, and I just have to say this, my demographic, I don't get the grace to make mistakes. Okay. So please read between the lines. I don't get that grace. Okay. So I have to be perfect in everything that I do. Right. So whether that's fair or not, it is what it is. Right. But at the end of the day, just present yourself in a great way to any community. And I think those opportunities will come your way. So I'll yield on that.
I
Yeah.
think, oh, let me
Sorry, yes. Sorry,
and then
just go.
yeah, no, I totally agree with you, Andrew. Like, at the end of the day, like, these businesses are companies. And, if you want to be a trigger influencer, you could be a trigger influencer and get quick likes. But brands are probably not going to want to work with you if you want to work with the right brands, and build a long-term relationship. So you do have to, as a content creator, you do have to think about it as a business if you want to build the right relationships. And with that being said, somebody who's great at business relationships, Liz, welcome. Oh, she might be rugged. So we'll go to Val, or am I rugged?
No, you're not rugged. Liz, are you there? I don't know if you want to go pull that. Okay. Yeah, I think at the end, it's important to realize that what is happening is you have total, like, you have power over whatever you're doing. And that's something that maybe we didn't have before in Web2. And more than like with all the contracts you're saying, just that it's happening right now. So companies are creating ways we can actually monetize and be the owner of our things. And that comes with a huge responsibility of knowing exactly how are you going to do it. So what Andrew said, that, at that point, he has like a lot trajectory and a lot, like, a lot of experience doing this, and he knows exactly how to play the game. But for those who are getting into the game, I think the most important thing is realizing how can you do it? Because sometimes saying no saves you a lot at the beginning. Sometimes just like building at the beginning, building community, presenting yourself, getting organically out there are going to give you better deals, like you said, Jess, long term, than just like random things that you're not even enjoying. And one of the mistakes that people, like, I did that mistake. I broke the law in a way, not literally, but when you are a social media influencer, for example, and I don't think a lot of people knows it, the Federal Trade Commission has specific rules you need to follow. So if you don't do it, for example, if you're going to work with a brand, or you endorse a brand, the FTC requires you to disclose any relationships, like, financial, employment, personal, or family. And transparency is very important because you give a review of, for example, like a 5-star review, and tell your followers they should download it and use it. But it's a creepy app. You can get into like real trouble, and you can also lose your community. So it's literally about that. It's like, what are you doing with brands? Are you working, and what deals are you getting into? Because you have other options. You might not work with brands because you might not need them if you are creating everything from your online courses. So I think having clear what you're doing, what are you going to offer, and how are you going to do it is important. I think Liz is back.
She is, I think she's on vacay, so she might be rugging, but let's see if she's back. What's up, Liz?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Liz. Yes, how's it going?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay, good. Yeah, sorry, I was rugging earlier. So I'm in Mexico. I got here yesterday, and the apartment I'm in, like, the Wi-Fi kind of is like, kind of not the best.
She's in the blender, I think.
Wait, what was that?
Now we can hear you. Let's give that another shot. No, welcome. We're happy to have you here. I know, we were just talking about like building relationships with brands and content creators. Just maybe you had any comments or suggestions for us?
Okay, I missed the part you said you were talking about what? Oh my gosh, I know this is so annoying. I can drop. It continues to be like this.
Yeah, she's like she sounds horrible. I can't hear her at all. Sorry, Liz.
Sorry, Liz.
Can you hear me?
Go enjoy your margaritas, have some tacos, and yeah, have a shot of tequila for me. We'll see if her mic works. But go ahead, Andrew.
I appreciate it. So based on what Val was sharing, the disclosures, right? So there's a document on the ftc.gov website. It's called Disclosures 101 for Social Media Influencers. Disclosures 101 for social media influencers. You should know that document if you're promoting anything. If you have any affiliate things that you're doing, whether that is any programs, a vidIQ situation or a TubeBuddy or what have you, or if you're promoting a particular brand, headset, microphone, keyboard, whatever it is, that document, you should know that document by heart. Hashtag provided by PlayStation or hashtag provided by, et cetera. I'm just using these examples, right? So that way, as Val was saying, in the event that, they come after you for any particular reason that you have, those things already in order. Any influencer, if you influence one person, you're an influencer, right? Not on a scale of like a Mr. Beast, right? But you influence one person, you're an influencer. So if you're speaking about a product on IG or YouTube or TikTok or whatever, and you are getting paid to promote that and you don't share that, that's kind of weird, right? You should share that. Let your people know. So I yield on that.
Yeah, I think those are great points. And when we think about like Web3 and content creators, everybody thinks about like NFT influencers and like crypto influencers, but I feel like there's a whole other category. Like you could be a data analyst content creator, you could be a research analyst content creator. Like you don't have to show a bunch of shitty projects to be a content creator in Web3, or you could just talk about, the technology or things that you enjoy. Like it doesn't have to be the extreme that we all see, which is like people, getting paid for undisclosed tweet or undisclosed, shilling of the new derivative project or whatever the fuck it is. Go ahead, Nika.
Oh my God. Like the shilling that goes on outside of Twitter on Facebook and Instagram is horrible. Like I go to Facebook to talk to some old relative and I'm looking at like apocalyptic apes still minting. And it's like that thing minted out like 2 years, like a year ago. What's going on over here? Like it's not just the shitty projects, but it's a lot of like bad links and all that stuff, and nobody checks anything. It's actually really bad. And that specific project, I didn't want to FUD that project. I wasn't trying to, but that's the ones that I'm seeing on there. It's not even them. It's somebody else just creating bad links. And like, oh my God, it's just unbelievable. Like the stuff that I see, especially on Instagram. Instagram is really bad as well.
Yeah, they definitely have a problem. But two things that I wanted to comment on, just like about Web2 content creator apps. Oh, we lost Val. Hold on. Oh, shit. So the first thing, I did see that Twitter coin. I don't know if you guys saw those posts that are going around about, oops. All right, sorry about that.
Jess, you got a reverb. You got a reverb over there.
I got it. Hold on. I think. Yeah. So there's posts going on around about Twitter Coin and also the new streaming platform Kick, which is like trying to compete with Twitch. Giving content creators back a bigger percentage, but at what cost? And I don't know if anybody's heard about Kick, but I'm always like, if these Web2 companies are giving you back so much, like what are they taking in return? So not sure if anybody heard of any of those two things and wanted to chime in.
I was exploring Kick a little bit. Oh, that's like a hack in my computer. Sorry. I was actually checking Kick last week, Jess. And the thing you're saying, it's like key, because at what cost is the important thing when you're getting into these platforms. I think eventually it's kind of slavery type of thing, because you always have to go according to their like their contract and their stuff, and that can change every time. And that's what I always say: when you work with platforms, you always take a risk that they might change their policies of their conditions, and you're going to be screwed. That's why, for example, in my case, right, for me it's better you just to build your things. Like Andrew has its newsletter, and if you have like a podcast, you can have advertisers, and you can know what you're signing for. You can discuss that before, because when you get into this platform and everything, it's around what this platform offers, that can change anytime. We have seen it in Twitter, right? With this new coin, it's very new. It's very premature to say that it might actually help creators to get money. I don't know. I just I'm very. I think I'm very contemplative about it, because I think we need more time to realize if this actually something good or bad for creators. I think
it sounds like we're the ones that are going to have to be paying other people for their
tweets. It's like taxes in New York.
Like, I'm going to go broke trying to support everybody's content. But I do see Fidgetal has his hand up. What's up, Fidgetal? Are you going to be tipping me in Twitter coin?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're in a tunnel, but we hear you.
Oh, I just got Richie made me buy an iPhone, so this is new for iPhone and all these stupid technology things made. Perfect example. Y'all choose to be on whatever platforms you guys want. I find it hard to complain unless you're paying for them, right? Just like I find it hard for me to complain about these iPhone things, but I can't hear myself. So I won't be tipping you in Twitter coin. Just drop me a link and I'll tip you in Twitter, crypto, or NFTs, whatever you guys want.
He's in a tunnel. Liz is having margaritas, and I'm home.
No drinking tonight. I'm sober as fuck, by the way. I'm going to sing karaoke in like 20 minutes.
That's better. You were like in the void in a second ago.
I think Liz is back. Let's see.
Margaritas night. Are you there?
She is rugged. Oh, but we do have somebody else here.
Lava just came.
But yeah, we'll just give it a minute. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Kick. It sounds interesting, but the way that I see it, if they're giving you back so much money, they must be doing something
dark
with our data.
Hey.
But yeah. But we go ahead, Andrew, and then we'll go to Slava and Nikachi.
Yeah, so a couple of quick points. So with Twitch, they recently introduced a way to add people's names in your title. So you kind of give them a little bit of shine, because Twitch, by design doesn't have like the discoverability ingrained thing that YouTube has, right? With their amazing algorithms. So I think that's fantastic that they're trying to do that. I do believe that Twitch has been playing catch up for a long time, especially with YouTube. And YouTube, although it's like a big, ship, right? It does make some great things by way of implementation for monetization for the creators, which is why it stood the test of time even now, right? It started off as a dating website, and it pivoted to what we know YouTube to be, this amazing platform. It is not saturated. You just have to create and be yourself, and that will catch on for whatever, base that you're building, right? So to Fidgetal's point, you're not paying for the hosting for those videos sitting on YouTube right now, right? So even a similar model, KDP Publishing for the book stuff, if you were to do something over there and start publishing line journals or low content books or whatever you have, you're not paying for that storage. Yeah, they're cutting the printing and all that stuff, but that stuff is just sitting there. and then you're getting royalties. So I think that I definitely agree with Phygital. There's a lot of places that we can do well. And just remember, years ago, to be a big influencer, you had to go through broadcasting school on that and all that stuff to get a platform, or to be watched on 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, and 11, and maybe 13, right? If you watch 13, right? So things have changed so much, right? And I think we're in a great place.
No, I totally agree with you. And we're still early. I know that's cliche, but like I feel like as time progresses, and it's talking about all these decentralized storage blockchain narrative that's happening. Like I see we're gonna slowly see that transition where we're gonna be owning where our data is loaded, and we're gonna be, renting it out or selling it out in some form. Really go ahead, Fidgetal, and then we'll go to Slava. Go ahead.
I feel like, do I still sound like I'm in a tunnel?
Much better, much better.
Okay. I feel like our generations, as we evolve, become more and more unaware of time and evolution. Like, just imagine having these exact conversations a month ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't know how old y'all are, but I remember when I was trying to dial up to AOL as a kid. Yeah, I'm old as fuck. These conversations would be prolific. But we sit here and go, why are they taking our money? Like, these things didn't exist years ago. And somehow we have the most, I feel like we have the most selfish, indignant, unaware, subjective, like human consciousness at the moment, of where we sit here and wonder how we're being taken advantage of, instead of going, oh shit, we didn't have this before. Oh shit, this is really cool. Like, just as a society, and I think especially in the Web3 space, we sit here and complain of being taken advantage of, instead of being aware of the fact that we're getting taken advantage of as we're being taken advantage of. And if we just, like, honestly, just common sense, take a moment and go, oh shit, there's another streaming service that I can potentially monetize. Oh shit, there's an entire social ecosystem now that I could potentially make money on that didn't exist before. So if you're not making money on Twitter, you couldn't have made money on Twitter 5 years ago. I think it's important to understand moving forward how you do monetize and how you do create compensation within your own ecosystems, is to not say, why am I being taken advantage of? What isn't being given to me now in relationship to something else? Because what you said is correct. If they're not making money, they're making money. You're giving them money, or somebody's giving them money, one way or the other. Just like an NFT project. No, an NFT project doesn't dump. There's always a buyer on the other end of an NFT sale. And until we can, like, simply take advantage of and think about micro and macroeconomic systems and realities, we are always going to be crying. And crying is past tense, and blockchain is current.
Great.
Yeah, Jess, if I can add something before Nico speaks, I think it's important what Vigital said, because at the end, it's what people doesn't understand. Everything eventually becomes a business, and it needs to be something that eventually it has to be a win-win. You're gonna make money, they're gonna make money, and at the end, you decide if you want to move to another platform. People get really attached to one platform, and I think that's the biggest mistake content creators do at the beginning. They think that if they're not successful in a certain social platform, therefore they will not be successful in other platforms. And that's what I think, that you have to be really conscious of what your content and what your strategy is about, because it's a business, and your business might run in certain places and it might not work in another places. I always like to see the example of ChatGPT. When ChatGPT launched it, that they're going to charge for people to use it, it's like, of course they're gonna charge. Like, if not, how they're gonna be sustainable over time? At the end, it's a business. They were just doing a testing. It's part of every business process creation. I don't know if that makes sense for you, but I do believe.
No, but Val, did you not back end their open source ecosystem to begin with? Did everybody here, not the moment that they launched it, did they not do two things immediately? Did you not back end their open source ecosystem?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, perfect. Did you also not buy every single AI.e? Every version?
No, I don't think so.
But why wouldn't you? If we believe in the blockchain Ethereum ecosystem, we believe in domains, then .eth is going to be everything. If you saw AI and understand AI and you back-ended the open source framework, right, wouldn't you also buy the front-end domains that allow people to enter into the back-end open source that you...
All right, we're getting into semantics. What I was going to say, no, I mean, I get the point, but I think, also like as if we're quote unquote Web3 content creators, it's kind of a little hypocritical that we're preaching Web3 shit and using Web2 platforms. But but I'm going to go to Slava really quick. Slava, welcome. I'd love to get your perspective. Maybe just give yourself a little intro. I know you're a founder. We were talking about like partnerships with content creators, so maybe getting it from like a founder perspective, and what do you look for in content creators to build those relationships? So it would really be helpful.
Absolutely. I think that a brief intro would be quite nice. There's a lot of new faces here. I'm happy to give some time to that. I have been in the startup game for about a decade. I've been in AI most of that period, and recently into crypto and NFTs. And I've not only done sort of startups that we raised tens of millions of dollars for, but also I've done agency work, and I've been a creator, so I can speak on kind of different aspects. I think the topic is very important to have now because there's a lot of confusion on what kind of Web3 means, and obviously it's a buzzword that people are kind of throwing out there, and you do need to kind of pay attention to what resonates with people. At the moment, the creator economy is the term that is most resonating with people. They are synonymous. There's definitely a relationship between the Web3 space and the creator economy. I think the biggest advantage I see is the fact that you can finally have this concept of ownership, and I think it's important to understand and kind of to think about what is the power of Web3. And if you think about this concept of ownership, you realize that creators today have a choice. That choice is to be playing by the kind of Web2 rules of what you and I are familiar with, which is sign in with your Google account, sign in with your Twitter account, sign in with your TikTok, your Discord. That's the Web2 mindset. Or they can play the Web3 game, and that is where you sign in with your wallet. There is no social identity unless you disclose who you are, unless you dox yourself, pseudo doxing or full disclosure. You're not forced to be social. You can be. It does help you, but you're not required. Everything that you do is recorded in a unique way that is on the blockchain. And so the advantage you now have as a creator is that you have, for the first time in your life, the ability to monetize differently without overly relying on a specific platform. If you're a creator today, you can launch your own token, you can launch your own NFT collection, you can put it on any network that you wish to. And more so, you can jump from one platform to the next. And this was not possible before. In order for you to jump ship from Twitter to Instagram, guess what? Your followers are not going to jump with you. Your community is not going to jump as easily as you want them to. But with crypto, because everything is on the blockchain, because the value, the ownership is not tied to the net, is not tied to the platform. It's tied to your identity, and that identity you can move wherever you want to. Creators are now empowered for the first time to take ownership of their identity. The question then becomes how. And that is, I think, the next opportunity for creators. They need to be educated. They need to be onboarded onto Web3. They need to jump into spaces like this. They need to listen to Jess and all the brilliant people here who will share their experience of what Web3 means.
Thank you so much, Slava. Such great points, such great points. Nico, I saw you had your hand up. Did you want to chime in?
Oh, we're way past. Like, it's all right. We ended up in Digital left anyway. It's fine. It's not a problem.
Oh, you wanted to argue with Digital. I see. But I
No,
do
no, no. I
see,
didn't want to.
yes.
I didn't want to argue with Digital. It's just that, like, you know how Digital is sometimes. So whatever, it's okay.
He stirs up the pot and then he leaves. But I do see Nkechi and Machiavelli up here. So we'll go to Nkechi and then Machiavelli. Anything you wanted to chime in? Welcome.
Hey, yeah. Thank you so much for having me up. I came up because everybody was rugging, and I just felt like, well, my Wi-Fi works, so that's at least one positive thing. I'm just joking. That was a horribly landed joke. Yeah, I love all of the thoughts, the input. I did hear something that Vigil was saying about the ENS domains. I mean, I had an opinion on that. Like AI is a very new frontier. I mean, we're seeing like AI cryptocurrencies kind of mess people up because they're assuming that those currencies have anything to do with Chat GPT, and they do not. The success of an AI platform has nothing to do with the success of a .ens. But yeah, I guess I do. I mean, but that time has passed. I mean, you would have had to have bought Chat GPT .eth like, I don't know, 10 years ago or something like that for it to be worth anything now. So I'm not big on NFT or smart contract flipping anyway. I did love like a lot of the points. Like I love coming to this space specifically because I always learn something. I caught a little bit of the data side when you guys were talking about how to mine that information and kind of utilize it to your benefit. Is that a question that's floating?
Yeah, what do you think Kick is doing? So Kick is the
they're
new
definitely
streaming
selling us.
platform.
They're definitely selling us, bro.
Yeah, they're giving back way more than Twitch. So how are they making their money then?
Well, I do wonder because we're also seeing that business model emerge in other areas. I mean, Blur is still like this, like will they, won't they scenario. It's been around barely 3 months, and it's already having billion-dollar trading volume days. 3 days. I keep on saying this over and over because I feel like the more I say it, maybe it'll finally click to somebody that it's weird that a token for an NFT drops on February 14th, and by February 16th, it has its first billion-dollar trading day during a bear market. But either way, the thing that really kind of made me pay attention to the platform was not the sus stuff, but the fact that it's the advent of a new business model that has been overdue. It's really been overdue, and that is the one that's kind of catering to the traders. We have play to earn. In different aspects, we have Axie Infinity and so many other examples that have been successful on that P2E aspect, and now we're realizing that P2P aspect can be evolved both to P2P, P2E, as in play to earn, but then now like this is the newest business model, trade to earn. Like who knew that even if you suck at trading, you could make money from it? But then is that liquidity realistic? Because at the end of the day, I mean, it's crystal clear that we're the liquidity on Blur. It's crystal clear to me. There's a few people that I've encountered today that are struggling with that concept, but to me, it's crystal clear. You can't dump $300 to $600 million into an ecosystem via a token and then tell me you still have something in the bank. And you can see that with their coin market cap right now. It's doing everything you expect it to, but it really is like a make or break. But I just say that to say, we're starting to see like an evolution in the play to earn, trade to earn aspects, and I think that the not the fairness, but the common sensory that we should have had in Web 2 is starting to finally emerge in Web 3. And I think that's also a marker that we may not necessarily be as early as we're thinking we are. Like I've been in the space for quite some time. This is approaching 10 years now. Pretty immersed in the web in the blockchain tech spain, which gave rise to everything else. DeFi, NFTs, all this other stuff revolves around blockchain. None of it exists without chains in place. But I think it's finally a sign that we're approaching like a different aspect now. I don't think it's necessarily going to fix anything right now because we are still early in that developmental side. But when it comes to Kick, I think it's less about, Web 2 was so much more about data mining, and it was in such a vicious way. Before most of us knew that it was our data that made Zuck a multi-billionaire, it was already too late. He had already created digital profiles of all of us. He already knew how to market to us. Well, not him, but, the people that he buys. They already knew how to market to us because he only buys companies. He doesn't have an original thought in his own mind, except for the cereal he wants to eat that morning, I assume. Or the small child. But I think that by the time we got to that point that we realized that we were being mined to that level, that other companies were able to come and kind of abuse that, target us in ways that we didn't even realize, condition us in ways, to the point that you guys were discussing before about how how we really aren't open to like new infrastructures. We're so suspicious of Blur. Well, on one side for very good reason, actually. But on the other side,
I want to chime in whenever you get a chance, Nick.
absolutely. Well, I'll just land the plane then. Well, but I guess I just say that to say like we're suspicious of it because we've been conditioned to be suspicious of these things, not because not because we've seen it before, but because we haven't seen it before. We haven't seen the advent of platforms that may actually want to work with us. I think the fact that Twitch takes such a big percentage, I didn't even realize they take like over 50% or 50% or over 50% from their creators. I think the highest subscriber account on there has like 200,000 subscribers. They share that with Twitch. I mean, yeah, they may be able to leverage, but just like Andrew said before, not all of us get that option. We don't all get a second chance. We don't all get that seat at the table to negotiate. You know what I'm saying? So there's still a level of abuse that we're so used to in Web 2 that when we don't see that in Web 3, it makes us hella suspicious, but it's also because we've seen a lot of scams. So yeah, I hope that made sense, but thanks for the floor.
Yeah, totally makes sense. And before I lose my point, because I think you guys make great points, and we know there's all these issues with Web 2 platforms, but then I feel like as content creators, like somebody mentioned, like, oh yeah, you could put out your own NFT. Like putting out your own NFT, then it's in some instances it's like looked down upon because then you have to make sure your floor price is up because if it's not up, then you fucking rugged. So it's like all this pressure to do it because I feel like there aren't the tools in place to kind of manage NFTs in a community. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like about the whole perception of being a content creator in Web3 and so forth. Val, go ahead.
Yeah, it's complicated. And I catch you. Actually, Twitch takes 70%.
That's
changed
crazy.
Their policy.
That's wild.
Yeah, they charge literally 70-30, and it was a whole thing. Because at the beginning they did 50-50 like YouTube, and then they started doing 70-30, and they did that for a while. And then
YouTube never did 50-50. YouTube never did 50-50. YouTube, depending on how you did things,
right?
No, depending on how you did things, you were monetized differently. It depended on how, it really depended on a lot of things. Some of the bigger creators ended up getting more money, and some of the smaller creators got a smaller percentage. YouTube isn't what people think it is. It's not there. Well,
that's
it wasn't.
Crazy.
They might have changed it, but because I have the Social Blade numbers. Like you could see how much somebody's making and how much I'm making, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, no
way. That's crazy. I mean, I think it's crazy. I think it's really complicated. Just now that you ask feelings about it. That's what I think. Like, for example, for me, I don't want to depend that much on social platforms. I do like social platforms to grow and build community, and that's how I see them. But if you ask me, I would rather creating my digital products with my audience, not using third parties at the beginning to know that it's just, okay, I'm using this to create my community. I have my niche. I have my shit. I have online presence, which is important because you have to funnel your content. But at the end, it's like, okay, I have my website, my landing page. If I do, for example, a fitness program, I have a fitness program. People pay me directly. And I don't have to deal with this shit. So I think at the end, it's a decision, and you have to understand it as a whole business. And I think that would be my thoughts about it.
Completely agree with you. But let's go. We do have some new speakers up, so we'll go to Machiavelli, and then we have Dow here as well. What's up, Machiavelli?
Greetings and salutations, lady. Thank you so much for having me up. I'd like to say hello to everybody in the audience. Since we are all here spending some time together, don't be afraid to go down to that button, like, retweet the space, let your friends know where you're at, follow all the hosts and the co-hosts on stage, and thank you all for having me up, ladies. The creator...
I'm so bad at that stuff. Like, I am so bad at self-promotion. We should probably touch on that.
Thank you.
Well, I'm just here to assist. I'm here to help. Thank you. I am a member of a kid called Beast. I run a little program called Beast FM. I'm the voice of Beast FM along with a few of my other constituents. We do a show Monday through Friday, and then I do one on the weekends. But I just came, I saw the title, the creator economy, Web3, and I want everybody to know that you're living in an unprecedented time, and it's very important that it's still so fresh that you could create your own economy in this system. By aligning yourself with devs and artists and other individuals who understand how programming work and so on and so forth in this space, you can literally create a niche for yourself. And then by going out and being who you are, go straight A to C, artist to collector or artist to consumer or however you see it. And by the old school hustle of going door to door or so for maybe space to space, you can see growth in this space. And as long as you have consistency and you're willing to put your best foot forward and be honest, and do what's right, I think that the creator economy is whatever you want to make it in this space. Of course, we have platforms and so on and so forth that you can really participate in, but it's so fresh, it's so new. I don't think we've really seen the real evolution come through. Something that's special about Web3 is that it's one of the first economies to emerge where it takes the arts and the music and art, and it allows us to utilize those things as a token, as actual, being worth something of value, while as anybody can draw a picture in the real world and it's not necessarily worth anything. But you translate that into a digital format and you have this situation that is unprecedented at the time. Like anybody can create and become wealthy in this day and age. You can create a ETH printing machine, so to speak. So, I think that a lot of the times we're closed-minded when we look at it because we've been, handled by Web2 one way, and we have these gatekeepers who have, guided the herd into a certain, corral or whatnot. And the corral no longer exists. There are no chains. There are no walls. It is what you want to make it. You just need to open your mind. We're on the precipice of something that's beautiful in this space, and the creators will create a new platform, will go and do what has not been done, because that's what creators do.
Thank you, Machiavelli. All great points. All great points. What's up, Dal? Welcome.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing? How you doing, Jess?
Doing good, doing good.
I don't know why.
Good to have you
I
here.
just feel like Espresso Hour is like the sexy version of crypto and coffee. Sounds like you guys are having a more mature conversation. So I just wanted to...
I know, I can't say I'm drinking coffee. I am drinking something a little bit sexier.
I'm having tequila.
That's what it is.
Oh my
You got
God,
that sexy voice.
What is happening with people and tequila in this space?
I think you guys are having a great conversation, so I want to chime in real quick. And I know I missed some stuff, so excuse me if I'm repeating some point that someone already made. But it's interesting that we're talking about the creator economy for Web3. But if we pay attention to the tools that we use, right, we mostly use Web2 tools, right, whether it's Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, what have you. So, and it's not because we don't have alternatives, right? Like there's something like Lens 2, for example. If people are familiar with the Lens protocol, all the different social media platforms that we use today in Web 2 can or already existing as Web 3 alternatives, but there's no real incentive to move away from YouTube, from TikTok, from all those other platforms. And I would draw a parallel with what's happening with AWS, right? People always talk about how most of Ethereum is run by AWS, and if AWS was to shut down, then Ethereum goes to go down. But obviously, the alternatives to AWS, decentralized alternative to it, but there really is no incentives, again, for developers to move away from those centralized architectures. So I hear the spirit that what Machiavelli was saying, and I would like to agree, but I actually don't agree. I don't see this new era. I think until we see a real value proposition that is a 10x over the Web2 platforms, people are going to stick to Web2 platforms because they're easier to use, they're true and tested, the value proposition is real well defined. Outside the ideology of decentralization, it's hard to make the case for you should move away from AWS to a developer because it works and it's a better platform than any other Web2 alternatives. And I think it is kind of the same thing for YouTube or TikTok, just because of the crowd, just because of the platform, the ecosystem, the sponsor, all the money is there, all the attention is there. So I'm sure we'll see some Web3 platform like eventually bring value. But so far, there's really no 10x moving away from Web2 platforms. So I don't see this economy arriving anytime soon. I think NFTs can be a way to start having this conversation and to innovate around it. But as far as I can tell, I really don't see where the 10x is.
Down, do you think now with the the new wave that we're seeing of decentralized storage blockchains that can interact with smart contracts, could that maybe change your view about your comments?
Well, I guess my point is that as of today, you can, for example, run a node in a decentralized fashion. There are alternatives to AWS. There is, as you just mentioned, like alternative to storage, right? They're decentralized, and there are alternative to YouTube's, to Twitter, who are decentralized. So they exist today. But then my question is, to a person who's not ideologically driven, what's the benefit from a number, maybe capitalist point of view? Like, what's my return on investment? If I move away from YouTube, I lose all the audience, I lose all the platform, the ads, the sponsor, like all the attention is there. Until I see, like, well, at least from my point of view, I haven't seen it, but until I see a 10x, it's really hard to make the case outside of we believe in decentralization. I think it's a beautiful feeling, but at the end of the day, people got to pay the bills, so it's not going to trump their main motive to do create content.
No, I agree with you because even like you said, the tools are out there, right? Like we have decentralized web browsers. Do any of you guys use it? Like I have a Proton Mail. I rarely use it. I'm on fucking Google Drive and Google Sheets. Like I know I shouldn't, but hey, I did make a step up. I left Linktree and now I have Link3. It's in my bio if you want to check it out. I actually like them a lot, not a paid shill or anything.
Is that really decentralized, or are they just trying to get?
Well, you can mint your profile on the blockchain.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I think like even as us as people that are in Web3, I guess my point is that we have a hard time making the transition to these tools that are already out there. How do we expect the mainstream to kind of do the same? So that was my point. Val, did you want to chime in before we go to Nico and Trish?
No, I think I'm just listening. I think it's very interesting. What it just said. I think at the end it's important to realize that we are pretty new in what is happening, and I have to be honest. For me, it's not important at the beginning monetizing as much as building and preparing myself for whatever that is coming because things are changing so fast. And having a strategy and having a long-term plan, I think it's the best for me. In my experience, is the best thing I can do right now. And also exploring what every platform offers. I think that will be my insight about it. Before you get into it, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people, they don't know what they're getting into, and that's why a lot of people like lose money from these platforms, and they just 2-3 months after they start doing things, it's like, no, this is not worth it. And I think like financial freedom is possible with content creation if you understand it, again, and I know I sound like very repetitive, as a whole business.
No, yeah, and even like with I see Daniel, DeFi Daniel in the room, like even with the decentralized up for this one, I signed up for that one, and I'm like, shit, I can't.
You're overwhelmed.
Like,
you're overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep up on.
It's your moral responsibility, Jess. It's your moral responsibility to try these platforms. I'm just kidding.
Like,
I mean, I'm kind of kidding. I'm a little serious. I'm a little serious, but I'm kind of kidding.
Go ahead, Trish, since you already chime in, and then we'll go to Nico.
I'm sorry. No. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry for popping off. Nico, go. I'm sorry.
I gave you the heart to go. All right, fine, whatever. I don't know. Let's not make it too awkward. Dow, you're so harsh, bro. You don't see this, you don't see that, and all that stuff. It's like, wow, bro. I heard you talking, and I'm like, holy.
Close-minded.
Like, this guy is.
If it's not built on Ethereum, he doesn't see it.
Yeah, like, yo, dude, you're like rating on everybody's parade and all this stuff. Like, bro, there's already some small economies that already kind of exist. They're a little too small to exist. It doesn't have to be a 10x, bro. Just start small and move on. It doesn't. I don't know. I feel like I don't know what to say. Like, I feel like I heard you, and I'm like, I don't want to do nothing now.
No, I'm not saying that. Real quick, like, okay, there's Lens 2, for example, right? It's a decentralized social graph. So no one can tell you what to watch or what not to produce on it, right? No one can take your content away from you, right? As of today, right, I can post it right now. do you think that as of today, just because I told you that it is there and it looks and feels just like YouTube, you're going to move to Lens 2?
No, it's not. Yeah, fine. I get it. You're 100% correct. But if you start just posting your content there and slowly people start catching it, it's fine, bro. Like, dude, I have 10-year-old videos that are still getting views here and there. Like, it's residual in the background, especially if you have good enough information. It doesn't really matter, bro. Like, people will continuously go back. I watch videos that are 10 years old, 15 years old sometimes on YouTube that the information on those videos is still 100% valid. You know, like as long as your stuff is valid and legit, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter if it takes one day or if it takes 30 years, bro. Seriously.
No, but I think at the same time, and we'll go to Trish and then Slava, like all that shit takes time. Even like uploading a thing to YouTube, it takes like 4 hours. And you got to make sure your Wi-Fi doesn't go out or you don't close out. And it's like, that takes time. Even like just putting your content on different platforms because you have to do all the shit. So wouldn't it be nice if there was like one platform that would just like distribute it out everywhere with one click? But I'm being too hopeful. Go ahead, Trish.
That is sick. Who are you today? That's very Web 2.
I want the world.
I know what you want. I actually want kind of everything that you want. Is it weird? First, hi, Nkechi, I'm feeling a little weird because I did take a nap today, but we were up all night in a space too, and you've had me thinking all day. I don't really particularly, I don't care about the 10x. First of all, I think we should care about like bigger things because we're building systems in a culture that we will be judged by, and I'm kind of hoping people are paying attention to that. There was a time in my life, so I'm an atheist, and I went searching at a certain time in my life for religion, and I tried everything, stayed at a Buddhist temple, all different versions of Christianity, and decided for like quite a while that I was Jewish, because when you convert to Judaism, it's the rabbi's job to talk you out of it. And I kind of feel that way about this space. Like you really need to warn people about all the bullshit. I would much rather have people learning crypto and financial literacy and like understanding that, and just like holding it, not trading it, like I think it's just like the wrong message is being sent out there. It's attracting the wrong people. It has me thinking about it a lot. And I think we should be trying all of the social medias. And I think that we should be kind of practicing migrating over to the one that we like the most, because I really, this, I feel super strongly that we need to get off of traditional social media before it just stays. I feel like we just have an opportunity right now. We're just at a point where we really could make the switch. And those are the things I care about. And I'm also very concerned about the data of these like platforms. I saw something today, a content creation. I think I put it in the bottom right. It's like an AI content creation, advertising. It looks like it's going to make everybody's life way easier. And it also looks like Satan staring me in the eye with what they're going to do with that data. So I don't really care that much. I want people to come in when they really want to come in, and they can really process all of the risks and the fuckery, and see kind of like the magic that happens here, and that it's not all like, art as financial instrument. There's actually, other things going on.
I think those are great points. I couldn't agree with you more. Slava, I know you came back, and then we'll go to Dal.
Yeah, I wanted to add my thoughts to what I think the space needs to kind of move past this stage of uncertainty, especially as the price really threw things kind of into perspective last year when the whole ecosystem of NFTs specifically popped, and crypto has been going up and down. So it's definitely not helping that these things are cyclical, and the media catches on to the price and price alone. I think we need something more than kind of, I would say, individual parts to stitch things together. Yes, creators can, for example, use their own data store solution like IPFS, Arweave, Filecoin. Yes, they can, spin up their own nodes if they want to. They can use Infura or something else. But we need something more holistic. We need something that was as simple as WordPress. Now, I'm not a big fan of the programming language PHP, but I appreciate what WordPress did for a lot of creators. And, fun fact, for those who don't know, WordPress makes up roughly, right, 40 to 60% market share on all websites created, like content management system. That's what basically WordPress is. It's managing your content. So if you're a creator and you're creating content, guess what? You're also managing it. So if you have a system like WordPress or any other alternative, essentially you have a one tool that can help you to create content, schedule it, post it. Now, I bring up WordPress not because I believe in the tech itself, but because I believe in the analogy. We need something as simple as WordPress, where if you're a creator, you use one platform, and that platform allows you to not only create content, but also schedule it, monetize it, tokenize it. That's really the Web3 primitive we're talking about here, and make it easy for you to have ownership. Now, I believe as part of that process, you must empower the creator with kind of the latest ENS type technologies that includes allowing the creator to have ownership of their own domain, but more so allowing their kind of all of the individuals who are coming into that environment to be fans or supporters of that creator. And that could mean, for example, creating subdomains. That could mean allowing your fans to also become, token holders of your community, allowing them to have an identity, a blockchain identity. These are all primitives that some platforms are now exploring. For those who are curious to see how this looks like in real life already, check out a platform like Mirror.xyz. They've been empowering writers and publishers for many years now, actually. They have all the crypto primitives on their platform. That includes everything from editions to NFT drops to campaigns. Like, they've really explored the domain of crypto monetization. So if you're in the creator space now and you're thinking, how may kind of the next tool look like? Look at Mirror, but imagine kind of combination of both WordPress and Mirror, where you have the ability to monetize your creative craft, but more so you have a single tool that can help you to achieve most of the heavy lifting.
Thank you so much for sharing. Great points. Dow, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Slava is saying, right? That we need something simple. It's almost like we're waiting for a moment, almost like the iPhone moment, right? And I know, Nico, you're trying to make me out to be the bad guy, but I actually think in this conversation, I'm trying to be the good guy here, right? I'm not trying
love
to
you, Val. Don't
dash your
worry.
dreams and be negative, right? I'm actually thinking, if you think of the way I think of it is like you have this adoption curve, right? You have like the innovators, people who really care about it, the nerds that actually build the stuff. Then you have the early adopters who hear about the nerds building the stuff, and then they try to promote it. And I think that's where we are. But if you really want to have mass appeal, it's not the same things that convince you that will convince the masses, right? When we talk about permissionlessness and decentralization and stuff like that, we care about that. But I don't think you'll ever get the masses to care about it. And I think that's where we have a fundamental difference of view, right? You might be wrong, I might be right. Who knows, right? But my point is that I think like a lot of times we're missing that moment to make something really simple for everybody to use. You think about smartphone, for example. Like, there's a lot of people that love their BlackBerry. They love the way it worked, how they were able to type emails and do all kinds of weird documents on, for the business applications, right? But it never took off for the masses. It was really for professionals. But then when the iPhone came out, as Slava said, it was that moment where all of a sudden the concept of smartphone was made simple for anybody to use. You take it out of the box and all of a sudden it just works. You don't have to think about how it works. You don't have to be a nerd. You don't have to understand how it works underneath it. It just works the way almost intuitively, right? And so I think if we want Web3 platforms to be adopted, not to be repetitive, but we need that moment that makes it super easy. And you don't necessarily need to know how it works. It's just that the ingredients, the permissionlessness and decentralization makes it that much more better than the Web2 platforms that everybody jumps on it right away.
Can I say something to that? I just want to so there's mass adoption. I totally agree, because people just want fast food and they're lazy and they're going to get something that's really bad for us because that's what they want. But there's people who are already here who have kind of proven that they're willing to like work with clunky. We're all beta testers in here right now, but we're starting to get really spoiled. And we have an opportunity, I think, to build like those platforms that are actually better because we're willing to go into them while they're clunky and give the feedback and be part of those communities. And like, that's what I want to see. So like, I think that, you know, adoption's going to come. It's not like my thing, but I hate it when I start seeing like people in this space get all, I want it convenient and easy and fast. And like, ultimately it's just whatever, Facebook. And also shout out WordPress and Matt Mullenweg. And that's who I shared, Jess. There's an article out there if you look for it, where he spoke about like how he would have handled Twitter if he were to buy it. He was too smart to buy it, but Matt Mullenweg should really be running the show. I'd be so happy.
I know you don't like Twitter, but I can't get off this app for some reason or the other.
Listen, you know, heroin is the same.
It's hard to get off here.
It's not that it's just not good for you, Jess, but I'm here with you.
But yeah, let's go to Giselle, and then we do gotta wrap it up soon because I know we could go on forever. We all like to talk, but I gotta space at 8 a.m. that I gotta prep for. So go ahead, Giselle. Welcome. Giselle, are you there?
Yeah, I think she's gone. Is she rocked?
She is gone. But before we wrap it up, maybe we could go around the room, maybe some last thoughts, and maybe everybody could tell us what Web3 app you've been using or are interested in using. Wait, she's coming back. Let's see if she's back. Giselle, welcome. And this is why Twitter sucks, right?
But we love it. It's just a very toxic relationship.
It is. We always keep coming back for more.
Those seamless applications.
Maybe we have to go to the therapist and tell like, hey, I cannot get over Twitter. What can I do to work in that toxic relationship without the good mornings? Giselle, are you there? I think you're there. Let's try. I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my paycheck from Elon. He said like 2 weeks ago we were
Illuminati.
Paid.
You're still doing it. You're still appealing to his like what his good side.
I'm still waiting for my paycheck.
That side, Jess. Yeah.
I thought you were canceling Twitter Blue.
I still have it. But yeah, we're going to have to wrap it up. Sorry, Giselle. I hope you come back for the next one. But we'll go around the room. Slava, I'll start with you. Any closing statements and any Web3 tools that you think we should check out or you're currently using?
Yes, I recommend LivePeer. The domain is livepeer, PEER.org. This is one of my favorite, I would say, transformational platforms that can really disrupt a lot of the incumbents who have been used to the video kind of defaults, right? Today you have the TikToks, the YouTubes, the Instagram Reels, and the intention is on video, yes, but you know, how many are ready to create the Web3 equivalent of YouTube? How many are ready to create the Web3 equivalent of TikTok? And LivePeer is one of these platforms. It's a video infrastructure platform. It allows you to essentially create your own media server. What that means for those who are more creative focused is means that you can essentially, create your own either video streaming solution or video hosting solution, and you can have people watch your content with the addition of tokenizing your stream, with the addition of tokenizing your video itself. Why would you want to do that? Is because you don't want to give your money away to TikTok. You don't want to give your attention away to Instagram Reel if they're monetizing on you. Instead, you want to host your own video on your own website, on your own domain, tokenize that process, allow your fans to support you and your work through the token. And now you've not only kind of created your own ecosystem of a token, but more so, you're actually going to spend less money. Now, at the moment, you're not paying as a creator to YouTube or TikTok to host your videos. I understand that. So you do need to have some capital to use LivePeer. But if you can kind of realize that as soon as you monetize just one video, you can then pay back the infrastructure costs that you would invest into the platform.
Great points. Nico, you're up.
Look, I honestly think that everybody should just look at it in a way where, and again, it does sound cliche, but we're actually way too early and nobody can predict exactly what's going to happen. I actually agree with Slava on the whole WordPress thing if they can make one. I don't know about tokenizing it properly. I don't know how they would tokenize it properly because I feel like that's one of the issues that a lot of like people aren't really getting. Everybody wants everything for free and they really don't know what the value of $1 is, or like that's what I wanted to talk to Fidgetal about, because people don't really know what the value of all of this stuff is. They think that they're just going to cash it out for $1 and that's it. And that's not really what's happening here. People are actually using this stuff. That's why the space is still around. And yeah, we just got to figure it out from here on. And Dow, by the way, I might be moving soon to like the Mediterranean in a couple of years. I already had the option. We're going to meet up over there. We'll have a nice talk, like chill out and all that stuff.
Thanks, Nico. But yeah, we didn't even touch upon this, but like the Web2 social media is like changing too. Now it's becoming to like pay to play. Now you got to get a check on fucking Twitter. You got to buy a check mark on Instagram and on Facebook. So after 3 check marks, you're like $60 down the drain a month. So it's becoming costly to even like become a creator, because obviously there's like algorithm perks with that, supposedly, quote unquote, but yeah, go ahead, Andrew, you're up. Thanks for coming again. Glad to have you back.
No, thank you. It's been really dope just hanging out. I got rugged a little bit. Can you guys still hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Sweet,
Yes,
sweet. Yeah. So a couple of final thoughts. Deeper Network is really good. It's a decentralized private network. I use that to like do blocking ads and all that stuff. That's been really good. About that unit, I think 2021. That's really good. Brave browser, love it. Web3 browser. It has a lot of great Web3 features. I love Brave browser, and also MetaMask. I've grown to love the actual MetaMask. So those are the thoughts on that. In terms of like final thoughts by way of creation stuff, and then I'll yield. From brand deals to affiliate marketing to memberships to YouTube donations to tipping to newsletters to fourth wall websites, all those things are opportunities for you to monetize and create something special for your brand. So I wanted to add that as we begin wrapping up. So Jess, thank you so much for the opportunity. And look forward to having a conversation again soon.
Thanks so much, Andrew. Dow, go ahead, you're up.
Yes, I agree with Andrew saying. I think Brave browser is really good. If you use to Chrome, it feels the same really, but you get the benefit of privacy. You can even use Thor to be completely anonymous as you browse through the internet. So that's a pretty cool tool. I wish I could code more, but that's the only one that I actually use like on an everyday basis, right? And just last point, I'm not trying to be like a broken record. I do think that there will be some Web3 apps, social apps that will be interesting in the future, but they just need to really think about how to leverage technology better. And it's early days, so we need to innovate, experiment, and see what works and what doesn't.
Great points. Nakachi.
Closing thoughts. I heard like some of the pain points that were expressed. Your information being mined if you're going to these platforms. I love the input about WordPress. I think something that's really, really important to also understand about WordPress is that the reason it became such a juggernaut is because it was diversified. It was one of the only platforms that, somebody could literally just say you can get on ThemeForce and buy a bunch of things. You can customize things yourself. You can get into Chat GPT and literally create your own theme as long as you know the prompts to utilize for each page. With that being said, if you want to be able to move around like that, I think that what will save you from like some of the things that Val was pointing out before is platform agnosticism. Like you can't put all your eggs in one basket. As much as I host on Twitter, as much as I hosted a lot more on Clubhouse in the past, especially during the pandemic. We broadcast as well. We also monetize all of our audio, and we don't put that on the community members. We have parameters, like when Jess was talking about, wouldn't it be great if we had one parameter that could just kind of stream it out? Well, there's still some parameters in Web 2 that can do that. You can get onto Anchor. The audio from here can be monetized. If you record a stream Twitch, record that, separate the audio from it, and then blast it out to Spotify, to Apple Podcasts, and all of those things are monetizable points. And there's additional monetizations on top of that, not just what Anchor monetizes, but you can actually do one-on-one sponsorships and shout people out and get monetization for that. You can also do that on YouTube. So I don't think that anybody should ever put all their eggs in one basket. But for those, I love the points that Slava also made about the importance of also owning your own. But it's also a luxury that we have. Like I actually have that of Eden.io. That's a Web3, like a fully token gated platform that I own. But if I were to completely migrate we have our own chat area. We could really just stay inside of there and mind our own business. It has a streaming service, and it has an audio streaming. It has everything. There's nothing I can't upload there, and there's no one to stop me because I own all the code to it. However, it's also an echo chamber. After a while, you kind of have to come back to these platforms because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you're missing out on. 1 week in Web3 is like a month in any other industry. So yeah, you can go ahead and kind of encapsulate yourself in your own platform because you're tired of the mining you. But there's also a give and take. For the level of exposure that we get here, like look at this. Just if you had a house party right now and there were all these people in your house, you would have 184 people in your house.
No,
you know what I'm
no
saying?
way.
No, we're coming to your house. It's happening. But I'm just saying that to say
my boyfriend would not accept that.
We would totally lure him out. He wouldn't know anything about it. Well, I'm just saying that to say there was a time frame where we couldn't hope to have an audio app here. There was a time frame where your only option was to use up your makeup and get on YouTube, even if you don't like to be in pictures. There is a time frame for that. So I think that there is an evolution that's going on. And as long as you're being smart about it, you're always going to have to give up some level of data. You use MetaMask, you're giving up data all the time. You get on these platforms, you're giving up data all the time, whether they're Web 2 or Web 3. The only difference is that the data that they use against you in Web 3 can be a bit more sinister because they can track everything you do with those coins. They can track everything you do with CBDCs and so on and so forth. But if you're talking about just content creation, I say why stick to one thing? Create everywhere. And what I did is I created everywhere. I have an awesome team that I also get to create with every single day. And then you know what? How do I protect my content though? Well, I put it behind of Eden.io. I put it behind my token gated vault where you have to be a holder to be able to access it. So that still adds in the tokenomics. Also remember that when we're talking about not being part of this other stuff, that means you have to create your own liquidity. You end up putting that on your community. I think that there's very much a world in Web3 where you diversify enough that your community doesn't end up having to be your exit liquidity, so to speak. They don't have to be each other's. If you can launch a 24-hour streaming service on YouTube right now. YouTube is actually one of the only places that's really getting that monetization structure right. And as you're sitting here running your other space, creating more content for monetization, you're still making money on the back end. It adds up. Anchor does the same thing. A lot of these platforms do the same thing. So I just say be open to it. Your dad, listen, they already know who you are. They know where you're at right now. That little green dot on your phone, they know everything about you. You might as well make some money off of it. And that was really, really the problem with Web 2 is that you didn't know enough to know that you could make money. But it's Web 3 now, and we can help each other. So yeah, this has been a great space. Thanks for letting me add that.
Thanks for coming by. And Trish, what's up? Any last comments and any Web3 apps that you're using that maybe you want to share?
Yeah, I have a lot. I was taking notes on the side, like writing down what people were talking about, and then Nikechi, I lost. There was so much. So now
I'm so sorry. I keep doing that. I keep doing that to her. I don't know. I'm so sorry.
No, but like they all sound like really good. Like I'm actually interested in your token gating, but yeah, so there is Paragraph XYZ, which is sort of like Mirror. I still feel loyal to Mirror, but Paragraph will let you token gate content. It's a writing platform, and they do like monetize. If you token gate your content, then they take a subscription fee that's like not that much. And I love Farcaster for social and wanted people to check out Formless.xyz, which is over on the right, which is a streaming platform, Web3 based, super dope engineer, Brandon Torrey. And I think it's going to like solve a lot of kind of marketing problems, and it's a nice kind of answer and solution to Spotify, but it gives musicians a ton more options, and it doesn't really compete with NFTs. And so I'd love to see people using that, because that is my platform of choice, and that is the one I would love to see everybody on. So use that one, cancel Spotify, you know.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing. What's up, Val? Thank you so much, Val, for co-hosting. Any last thoughts? And are you using any Web3 apps that maybe you want to share with us?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me again. And thank you everyone for just taking the time of being here and add some stuff. Actually, I've been getting into Livekeeper. Like Slava said, I was checking that last week, and I think I'm gonna try with it just because I am at the initial stages, and I think it's a great project. And also, one of the things I thought about this and like sharing final thoughts is I wrote something a couple of days ago, and I think it's amazing the fact that you need to go with the platforms that are building communities in the long term run. And I know the Live Peer, and that's what I'm using it. They work with Discord, Telegram, Reddit, and Medium, which is Medium for me is one of the most important blog type of like tools you might use right now, especially if you're doing newsletters and blog posts and whatever. I think Live Peer integrates that, and it's great. And I think the final thing I would like to say is you need a plan to monetize. The content creator economy is a whole world about yourself and how you can manage your own business. Like I will say, funnel your selling process, funnel your content, check your analytics, set short, medium, and long-term goals based on realistic goals that you can know based on how big is your audience and everything. Don't get too attached to numbers in the beginning because you're going to get really frustrated, and build audience in platforms that can make sure that you can show yourself authentic, and also you can make money in many, not just in one. Don't create content for platforms. Create audiences in good spaces for you to also grow as a creator. I think that will be my last thing.
All great points. Yeah. What I was going to say, we didn't even talk about AI. Most of us will be replaced in a few years anyway.
No, we're
so
not.
This is like
yes, don't say that. Don't manifest that.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, I guess the one app that I have been using, which I already mentioned, is Link 3 instead of Tree. And I did sign up for like an org account, and it creates it kind of integrates Web2. So you can mint POAPs for the space. It also helps with the banner. Not sure if you guys saw that banner that I created. And also creates like your link tree, but it's minted on the blockchain. So that's the one I've been using. But yeah, great points all around. We'll talk about AI another week. That's always a deep conversation. But I appreciate everybody for coming. We'll be back not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that. I do have a space tomorrow morning with BNB Chain, with the Web3 growth person from there. We're going to be talking about BNB Greenfield, which is a decentralized blockchain storage solution, and how they're looking to use that to integrate with smart contracts, and how is that going to benefit content creators and just owning your own data. So definitely relevant to the conversation that we had. Make sure to check out the pinned tweet, Crypto and Coffee and Friday. Follow all the speakers. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.